Hey, we got Julian Smit coming in the house. He's a little bit delayed. And for those that you don't know about live streaming, there is a time limit. If you schedule a Facebook live stream, you have about 7 minutes before that stream goes inactive. And at 9 minutes, that stream is deleted. So if you schedule it and you don't make it, it doesn't go anywhere, which makes a little sense. However, in this case, Julian's been on the show. He's been a pirate before. He was an early adopter, and early on this show, he came in, participated, and I didn't have all of the systems in place. I didn't have everything in place. So I wanted to invite some of the early adopters back in, Patrick Ward, Kieran Beatty, uh, uh, Julian, Doug Townsend, some of these individuals that are out there and doing great work that I want to highlight. I just want to make sure that they're available. And the reality is that, life gets busy. We have complications, different time zones. It's not the end of the world. My hair is not on fire. My hair is not on fire. And so another thing that I wanted to share with you is that for those that are looking to accomplish live streaming on Randall Constant would probably be interested in this fact is that if you're streaming live to your profile, that doesn't automatically give you the right to stream to your business page or your company page. So if you have a company page, say for instance, you have a company page and you want to produce a show on your company page, you can apply separately. It's a separate application. Well, it's probably the same application, but you have to specifically apply to have content streaming to your business page. Now, the interesting thing that I find interesting about this is that when I'm looking at it from StreamYard's perspective, and I use StreamYard to stream this show, which I love. Dave or Dan and Gage are awesome. They're individuals that I would highly recommend you connect with. That's one of those episodes that you just have to know what is going on, and they are the ones that have a little bit of information that you can use. So in the live streaming world, and they have a show every Sunday on Facebook. They probably have it on LinkedIn as well. But it's one of those shows that is an update for the program. So you can stay involved and engaged in the program. And it's just recently been off it's been off of beta. So anyone is easy accessible to anyone that wants to grab it. So a little bit of news there. So now trying to get Julian in here, almost there, he's saying. So I just didn't want the live stream to YouTube to go. Cool, just jump in. Excuse me while I respond to our guest today. The elusive guest, Julian. He has a YouTube channel. We're going to be talking about YouTube today. So let me come back to this item just to recap. If you want to show for your business channel, if you want to show for your company page, you have to apply specifically for that show. You have to apply to get LinkedIn live streaming on your profile, your personal profile, and your business page as well. So just remember, those are two separate things. From StreamYards or any streaming platform, it actually sees your page because, well, I'm the admin of my page is probably why. So if I'm the admin of my page, my company page, and I'm also the admin of my profile, it's going to show up as being available. However, it's not actually available because they aren't sharing like that, unfortunately. So I'm still posting the show up on the company page. I just have to download it and upload it again natively, so it shows up. And if I could stream directly to it, then that would save me a step, right? I like that. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to also what I wanted to let you know is that I do broadcast on let me see, remove this destination, cancel. I'll just cancel that. Doesn't really matter. I do. Oh, LinkedIn Live is not showing. Oh, that's interesting. Waiting on LinkedIn, was waiting for live on LinkedIn, but it's not showing, so I found you here. Vicky, you're awesome. That's fantastic. Now, if you do have a, you could go find me on Facebook, and then I can actually drop the comments in here. How is that? That is awesome. So that's concerning if I'm not. So I'm not. Let me see if I can find myself on. So Vicky, question. Did you not see the announcement, or did you not find the post? I'm just curious. I'm looking for it right now. Activity posts. Okay, I'm seeing it on. I got 5 comments and 16s.
Did you?
So I'm on LinkedIn now. Arcott's here. Christine Robinson, thank you so much for being here. Awesome. Sherry Lawley, good morning, all you pirates out there. Steve Sullivan, he's a pirate. Good morning, Steve. Logical. Yay. It's showing on LinkedIn for me now. Vicky, awesome. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Switching over now. Sherry Lawley, you appeared as an alert on LinkedIn on phone. So, so it's still showing up. Good morning, Kenyatta. You little pirate, you. I saw the announcement when I went to the page, it wasn't showing live. There is a slight delay. What's the delay? I wonder what the delay is. Let me see. 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000, 5, 1,000, 6, 1,000, 7, 1,000, 8, 1,000, 9, 1,000. Did I miss it already? I don't know. So I'm not really sure where our guest is today. Julian Smit. This tech stuff always happens. Yes. It's inconsistent. It's inconsistent when so now I'm switching over there. We'll get Julian in the stream here.
We made it finally.
Holy cow.
Oh, sorry about that. Sorry to keep you waiting.
Well, it's the end of the decade. So we get tired.
That's right. Yeah, a little warm.
It's like a little slower at the end of the decade. Now we can start a new decade and it'll be all good, right?
Yeah, I'm a little worn down from the decade. Yeah.
Good morning. How are you, my friend?
I am great. Let me get to a place where I get a little more light for you here. Here we go. That's probably a little better. A little Christmas tree in the background too. Excellent.
Oh yeah. Fantastic. So you know a little bit about video. I mean, come on.
I do know a little bit about video. Yeah.
I want to interrogate you a little bit about video today because I think there's a lot of people that are curious about it. And before you jumped on, by the way, I was telling everybody here, we got a few people we got Steve, Arcot, Vicky O'Neill, Jennifer. Good morning. How are you? Sherry Lawley, Steve Sullivan, Christine Robinson. A few fine people in the room to join Julian Smit, the rock star on LinkedIn, and another pirate here. So
Definitely a pirate.
This is now, I just want everybody to take in a moment, pause, and understand that Julian is the first double pirate we have on the pirate broadcast.
Two times pirating.
Two times pirating.
Pirating. I feel honored.
Well, here's the thing, though, is you were kind enough to join in early before I had a few systems built up. Now, at this point in time, I have it built out, Julian. So as soon as this is done, it'll go into production. My admin will take this content, download it, convert it to a podcast. It'll be on Spotify, Apple, Stitcher, all of the podcast platforms. And if you miss it on your favorite podcast platform, if it's not there, let me know. Please let me know so I can get it up there on there. So you don't have to chase me down. I can come and visit you. And then I have the transcription created, and then it goes up on my blog post, typically before noon, my time, Arizona time. So then you can reshare it out and put it out there to the world if you want to.
Amazing. That was just a few months ago, so it's cool. It's amazing, how quickly our systems. It's like you've got a whole new studio.
Yeah.
In just a few months.
It's good though, right?
Oh, it's great, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's on YouTube. It's on 2 channels on Facebook. It's on LinkedIn. And I was telling everybody that the LinkedIn company page and the LinkedIn profile are completely different, separate platforms. And you have to apply to stream video to each one. So it's kind of unique. And they were testing the LinkedIn pages a while ago, and you could actually send out 50 invitations a day in order to grow your audience, but they took that away apparently.
Okay.
It felt like spam to some people apparently. So anyway, what I want to get in today though is, Julian, is you've been in marketing and media for a little while, and we've been doing this thing for a little bit, and it is important to have systems in place. It is important to have an understanding of what it takes to generate content, build up content. And one of your favorite pieces of content is video.
Yeah.
And traditionally and historically, you have been doing this on YouTube, correct?
Yeah, YouTube is my central repository for a lot of my videos. Exactly.
Okay. Explain for those that are unaware or uninformed about all the wonderful stuff that you generate there. What is the focus behind the show, and what are you doing, and how are you doing it? Kind of walk us through this simple process, high level.
Right. Okay. So BIYF marketing, or balls in your face marketing, is an interview show very similar to this, where I sit down with industry experts in a variety of fields, not necessarily entirely, it doesn't have to be marketing. So for example, I've had professors of psychology come and talk about the brain. I've had philosophy professors come and talk about a few subjects of interest. So it's very similar like this. I happen to be using Zoom at the moment. I'm also going to be playing a lot with the Remo platform, which is more like a video convention type format. It's very interesting.
Which platform is that?
It's called Remo, REMO.
Okay.
And they have little sort of virtual breakout rooms. So if you're running it like an event, you can have like a panel discussion. Everybody's mics and cameras would turn off during the panel discussion. And then there's sort of breakout rooms where you can network with people in a virtual way. So I kind of thought that was an interesting platform. But basically, once the show is recorded, I quickly throw on the sort of some branding and the theme of what that day's discussion was, kind of top and bottom, in a similar way that you've got up here right now. I see on the screen, I see my name and
your name's in lights right up here.
Yeah, it's very cool. Very, very cool setup. So very similar, kind of top and bottom. render out both the full version and an under 10-minute version so that I can post it onto LinkedIn.
How long is your typical show?
They're anywhere between 30 minutes to, I've had a few that run a little over an hour. I try to keep it at least, I try to keep them under an hour, but often the conversations go and I let them go. Right?
Yeah.
So as far as the setup, the system and so on that I have, that was something that was definitely very important to me to be efficient, because the show was never sort of my main bread and butter or anything. So I really wanted it to just be a very sort of quick and efficient way for me to get that content out. So the reason why I ended up using YouTube as my central repository is because I found that, one, as a general link, I mean, people tend to trust YouTube video. So if you were to send that out in an email or anything like that, it's recognized. People feel comfortable with it. But more importantly, I would say that it allowed me to automate a number of posts, basically, that made my time, was very efficient for me. So, for example, as soon as I post a video to YouTube, a few things happen automatically. One is that I have a plugin in the BIYF WordPress website. It's called YoTube, YoTube. And that plugin does a couple of things. Is that once I've synchronized it with my YouTube channel, basically on my episodes page, that episode now will appear automatically on my website. I don't even bother. I'm just posting it to YouTube. I'm not even reposting to my own website. It's going to appear there in the episode section.
So it just takes the link from YouTube and posts it in WordPress.
Yeah, and plugs it onto where I have that assigned as an episode. The second thing that it then does is it also shoots out a tweet to my account and says, "Hey, there's a new episode of BIYF Marketing."
Oh, cool.
With some additional configuration, I've got it so that YouTube video automatically converts into an audio podcast and gets posted onto iTunes and Stitcher.
Okay. So are you using YouTube as your host for audio as well?
Essentially, yes. I've got a video online, and I'm happy to share that with you and with the community of how that configuration is set up. So in fact, let me just quickly do a quick look onto you, because it's on the Marketing Summit Academy, which is where I offer training, and that's where I put that as a free video where you can learn how to do this configuration yourself. But basically,
I'm thinking about doing, mapping out this configuration that I use as well. I mean, it's very similar. And what Julian's talking about is using tools and automation and plugins to do some of the heavy lifting, so you don't have to download and upload and edit and everything else. But in the meantime, Kenyatta, I hope you're feeling better today. I know you were a little under the weather doing the NyQuil dance this weekend. Or I guess it's not the weekend, it's today's Thursday. It just feels like Monday, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So exactly. We had a holiday in there.
Holidays will throw everyone off.
Yeah.
And so just so people know, like, what it is exactly. So basically it goes from my YouTube channel to PodSync, from PodSync to FeedBurner. And then from FeedBurner to iTunes and Stitcher. Okay.
So an RSS feed, you got an RSS feed going in there. So
right.
Very cool. Very cool. So how long have you been doing the show itself?
So the show, I think it was around March 2018 that I started. So it's been a couple of years. It's been about almost a little over 2 years now.
Very cool. Very cool. And so people can find you over on YouTube, and Rob put that link in there. And
there's the YouTube channel. There's BIYF.marketing, which stands for balls in your face. People don't have, once they know what the name is, they don't have too much trouble remembering that. So BIYF.marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's been a wonderful experience to do the show. I mean, I'm sure you've learned this too. You know, you get to just in speaking to interesting people. You know, you learn a lot on your own just by having the conversation.
Oh yeah.
And
Well,
then and then in addition to that, then you're seeing with them, they're seeing with you. It's spread to your wider audience. The benefits just kind of keep on coming in a way. So I'm very happy that I ended up doing that.
well, I wondered in comparison how YouTube would play out versus LinkedIn Live on LinkedIn, because a lot of people were saying, you bring in LinkedIn, you bring YouTube links into LinkedIn, they don't get as much visibility. Has that been your experience though? Because some people argue that it doesn't really matter. As long as they're less than 10 minutes, you can upload them natively. So
yeah, so I do think that there's some advantage to the native video within LinkedIn for the LinkedIn crowd.
okay.
I don't think that LinkedIn Live is as valuable in a way as a YouTube Live, because and I could be wrong. I mean, I haven't been doing LinkedIn Live yet, and nor is it a major priority. One of the slight criticisms.
Roger tried to get you LinkedIn Live. I know there's conspiracy for those people in Toronto.
I should probably reapply before we say that there's anything really fishy going on. But my sense of LinkedIn Live is that for sure people will get a notice if they're following you, if they're a subscriber or a friend of yours, they'll get the notice to say that, hey, Russ is live right now, let's go check him out. And so I think it is good for driving that initial audience, but I do feel as though those videos then disappear into the ether very quickly.
And they're difficult to find as well.
They're difficult to find, and that's the thing. So that you've got sort of the live, you increase your on the spot engagement, but you're not really maybe getting longer term engagement from that video. I would say that actually just posting a video as a post and then sharing that link with your friends seems to do better sort of over the long run. And that's a major difference where I would say with YouTube. The important thing about YouTube, right, is that YouTube's owned by Google. And so
the second largest search engine.
And the second largest search engine after Google. So basically Google owns rank 1 and 2 when it comes to, right? Yeah. So that's a major factor. And in fact, the thing about that's unique about live on YouTube, similarly on Facebook, right, is that you could actually pre-record a video and then stream it live from your computer. Mm-hmm. And the thing about being live on YouTube is it kind of lets you jump the queue on what your search phrase is. So once you've entered in, because if you're going live, you're still entering in your title, the description, all of that stuff. So YouTube has now an idea of what the subject is and what competing videos it generally displays for those search phrases. Right. But because it's an event, because it's live, they basically are allowing you to jump the queue and appear at the top of a search while you're live. So the trick is twofold, and I've done a number of training on this, but very, at a high level, very quickly. The trick in ranking videos on Google, which is an on-demand. I mean, that's an ideal thing, is when somebody's looking for something. Right. I'm looking for the expert in this, and your video comes up. Right, because that's an intentional buyer. That's an intentional potential client. Correct.
They're already searching for what you have.
They're looking for what you have. So having your video show up has huge appeal. And so, as I said, the ranking strategy that I have is basically twofold. The first is to leverage live so that you're able to jump that queue, and then to use the descriptions in YouTube, which offers a lot of space in that description.
It does offer a lot of space.
And very few people actually bother to click through the more button to see what's under those top 3 lines that they show.
And all those words generate some activity or interest in the search queue. as well.
Absolutely. You
So
can,
how much pre-work do you use? How much search term optimization or SEO, or some of the tags that you're using, or how do you categorize which one it is? Because it's essentially an interview show just like this. However, there's some nuggets of knowledge that you could share in setting up that episode to jump the queue, so to speak, right?
yeah. Yeah.
So
Well,
there are
so
some
the, yeah.
habits that you've gotten into that allow your visibility to increase. And I really haven't done any work on YouTube yet. I know this is all part of the process and part of the equation. And I will, in fact, get there. I figured okay, after I get 100 episodes or sure, that playlist will start In fact, I've actually got work from some of the videos that, I put out there in the past, and it works. It works.
Yeah.
I know it works. So,
Yeah.
so talk a little bit about what kind of effort is required to get that particular episode showing up in the search queue.
So exactly as I said, the going live allows you to jump the queue, and then all of that language in terms of what your title is and what your description is keyword research, which allows you to hold that rank over time. So there's a couple of things that we know right off the bat that where YouTube, because YouTube, when you search something on Google, let's say, occasion, as you know, sometimes they'll just give you a list of links. Sometimes they will show videos.
Yeah.
So that's the ideal situation, right? Is you want a search phrase that also lines up with showing videos, and that for your video to show up. The videos, there are a few rules that we know that tend to have those videos on that all page. So videos that have titles like how to, videos that have reviews, subject of reviews, fun and funny tend to have videos in them, and a lot of things that are health and sports related tend to.
Okay.
So if you're in those industries, that's great. Then you're rocking. You have a very good chance of having videos appear. So part of it will be a quick search of, okay, here's roughly what my title is. Okay, is there a how-to or tips and trading or something? Let me search and see on YouTube or on Google. Do any of these search phrases? Are there any existing search phrases, or is there any autocomplete once I start to write that title? What does it autocomplete? What is it suggesting that tells me what other people are, primarily looking for in that field? If I find one that I'm like, okay, there's great. There's now I know how to rank videos on Google.
If there's a million searches for that particular phrase, that would probably be a decent phrase to select, or
yeah. So the other thing now is usually the other thing is like, I will then, whatever that sort of primary title is, I'll say, okay, well, can I squeeze in yet another title? In other words, two titles, like, there's a decent amount of space.
And then you have the tagline, I believe. So
yeah, so some people have the impression they're like, okay, well, what I want to do, they want their title. Most people, what they try to do is they have their title match precisely the search phrase that they want to hit for, right? So again, if it was how to launch your own pirate broadcast, right? If that's what you wanted to rank for, if you were making that mistake, you would say how to launch your own private broadcast.
Yeah.
If it was me, what I would be like, okay, what are the alternate then it would be pirate broadcasting on LinkedIn or whatever it is. I would throw in more keywords. I would reuse the keywords that I want in that title, because it's only going to appear. It's just appearing more, and then tricking the algorithm into saying, okay, they're really talking about this. They're like, for anybody searching up broadcasting or pirate broadcasting.
Yeah.
His title has it in it twice. And wow, now it's in his description.
Up a little bit more.
Now it's in his description 10 times. This really must be about that. The final thing then is in that description is, okay, so when I'm searching those search phrases, what other videos are coming up top rank? Okay, is there any language in their description, in their title, that is applicable to mine, that I can kind of cut and paste and use little sections of what they've written or that are applicable that I can rewrite for my own purpose and stuff it in there. And now, again, what I'm basically doing is telling the search engine, not only does my title search exactly, have these keywords in it multiple times, and then you see my keyword in the description multiple times, but you see that it has some very similar language to these other videos that you consider very popular on this thing. They must be in common. They have a lot in common. So anybody who would likely find that other video should be looking at yours too, is what you're telling the algorithm. And so those things all combined, going live, jumping the queue, having your keywords in a long tail title, what we call a long tail title versus a short tail title. The short tail title is what people are actually going to search, the most efficient search that they type into their.
Yeah, the long tail takes a little longer. So one quick question. If you have an underperforming episode because the title wasn't optimized the way it needed to be or something like that, how does it impact it if you go back and update that title and that content? Does that get thrown back at the first of the line in the YouTube algorithm, or does it kick it in and say, okay, this has been updated, it must be important?
Yeah, I don't think I don't know 100%, obviously.
Well, we'll never know 100%.
What how Google's managing that. But I don't, so they're not treating an update as important. They're not going to be, having you jump the queue like it was a live event or anything.
Yeah.
It would simply update the keywords and phrases that were associated with that and would likely do better. What you might be better off to do, and I've done this before, if I wasn't happy with how something was landing, was saying, okay, well, is there something else? That could be for a couple of reasons. Either your research and the words that you use weren't wonderfully aligned with what you're trying to achieve from a search phrase, or vice versa. It could be just that you're trying to get into such a competitive search phrase. There's so many videos that maybe it's not a great place for you to start. That maybe there's an alternate variation where you can pick up all the other people. And so then what I've often done is simply just changed the thumbnail image so that the video at least looks different. And I repost it with a new title, new thumbnail, updated description. And then there's a new version that's likely to come up higher. And then I just slowly let that old one, either let that old one die, you can delete it, or you just let it sit there and then that'll collect a few. But not as well as your new one, your new version, even though it's the exact same video.
They'll take up space on their hard drives.
Yeah.
So this is, and I love YouTube, and I consume lots of YouTube. That's, my philosophy is information is available now. You want to learn about something, it's available. You want to learn about a trade or a skill or a job or an effort, it's available. Those are the things that's what is so amazing about what we're doing right now. And it's available to learn something new. I just want to give a couple of shout outs here. Julio, Sherry, it is true. Well, there's been a lot of changes. Sherry Lawley is talking about YouTube channels favoring those who are monetizing versus non-monetizing channels. And I'm sure that there's an algorithm for that. Kenyatta says, cool tips on video. Julian, thank you. So be putting content in FYI.to. I do put all of my videos in FYI.to to make it easier to binge watch. And so it's available on FYI as well as YouTube. And so Rodrigo Martinez, going out there doing these things and making sure that we have available content. So wherever you want to show up, you have it available. So I put that out there as well. Nick Norman, another treat as we move towards the new year. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you guys. Jennifer, thank you. Truly resourceful. Thank you so much for this live broadcast. Julian is an amazing individual. If you're not connected with Julian, get connected. I hear he's on YouTube. I don't know. I'll have to check him out.
Yeah, well,
Maybe
it's
you can
funny though.
invite me on your show sometime.
Well, we definitely do have to get you on the show for sure. Yeah, I mean, what's interesting with again is YouTube I've liked and people have been interested in because of the ranking the videos.
Yeah.
And so I've gotten a lot of views on YouTube, but where I would say for sure where the engagement has been highest, where the audience is actually kind of responding, is on LinkedIn. And
Yeah.
that's why and I think it's important, I mean, sometimes what I'll do is I'll try to get a really short clip, under 30 seconds, like a little moment. And then sometimes I'll throw those out on Instagram or whatever. Right. So, the more that you're sort of omnipresent, the better overall.
Yeah.
But for sure, as a platform that is stable, that helps you rank, that allows, as I said, for me, I just found that it was okay. This was an efficient system where I could just post my videos and know that they were getting distributed and not have to spend too much time manually putting them everywhere. That was a big thing for me. But there's a million ways to skin this cat, and you're right. Like that's why what you're saying. People are going to YouTube either to be entertained or to learn.
Yeah.
My kids certainly use it for entertainment. I mean, they're just watching other people play video games. A phenomenon I don't fully understand, but each generation their own.
Well, they just released an article where the highest earning YouTuber right now is an 8-year-old.
Yeah. Well, I think this is the thing, and I think people are going to say, "Well, what is going on here?" When an 8-year-old doing soccer tricks is making more than Ronaldo himself,
yeah,
then people will say, "What is going on?" Right? And what's going on is this, in a way. First of all, I mean, to your point earlier, like you can learn anything and everything. I mean, if I had the time and the energy, I think just as a social experiment.
Yeah.
Me, who knows nothing about construction, and I'm not the handiest guy in the world, but I do believe it is fully possible to build an entire house off entirely YouTube. I just, like, for the sake of just showing that it could be done, that somebody who knows nothing about building a house could just use YouTube video to do all of their electrical wiring, all of the whole thing, the whole plumbing.
Yeah.
You could learn it, and that's amazing. And so what, I mean, there's a lot of incredible new technology, but in a way, YouTube is the printing press in the power of the hand. Imagine think about what the printing press did for.
It's the Gutenberg to education today.
Yeah, it's well, I mean, but who had that power? I mean, that was the thing, was, the printing press allowed people all of a sudden to distribute it. It changed literacy around the globe, but it was expensive. And now basically everybody has their own printing press in their pocket, for nothing. How transformative is that? How much, this is the thing, and this is why so many videos are going up. I think we're at something in the range of 70 to 80% of the content online that's consumed is video.
Yeah.
So it's preferred content, and I can certainly vouch for the fact, from a marketing perspective, from having worked at agencies that did research in this, that when you are trying to explain a concept, especially if you've got like an explainer video or whatever, if you have the right visuals in a video with the right words kind of popping up, in time, the retention level on that video is through the roof compared to what if somebody had just read it.
Oh,
so
it's insane.
It's very powerful.
It's insane. Ask Carmen Brothers. Yeah. It's like what do they do? The poopy potty or the all those videos they do?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We're like Dollar Shave Club, it's like that video had millions and millions of views. But but the reality is that we're, interesting information, and I really believe in the space of everybody has a gift, everybody has something they contribute to the world, and my goal with the Pirate Broadcast is to interview interesting people doing interesting things. And every time you put out a show or a broadcast and it goes up on YouTube, there's a process. There's a thing that there's a thing behind the thing, right? What you see is only a fraction of what actually takes place in order to accomplish that goal. You know, it's like anything, it's like building a house. You know, there's a lot of things that you don't even notice because you walk in a house and it's all finished. There's a process involved in that. And I find that process interesting to share and deliver and kind of, you know, talk about. You know, it's like, okay, build awareness in the world around what is going on. And then maybe along the way, there'll be some appreciation of what people are doing to accomplish this goal. And I think, you know, I applaud you for the things that you're doing in marketing. And I love, if you haven't seen Julian's animations, go check out his channel, click on posts and activities, and then go check it out, because I love your animations. So
it's been, I'm very due for an old one, the LinkedIn the news. Yeah, if you did hashtag LinkedIn the news, you'll see a few cartoons where I have a little fun at the expense of some common content creators on LinkedIn. I'm due for another one for sure, because those exactly, like for me, it's about the quality of the engagement that you get, and those got a lot of really quality engagement. That's where people were like enthusiastic, and that's where it says, that's what gets me excited. I don't really care that much about, okay, oh, this video got 2,000 views, this one only got 1, you know, what's wrong, or do I spend too much time analyzing those metrics? Not much, to be honest. It's when I know I know I've touched on something of value, when somebody's comment is, you know, you get a few comments and they're sometimes longer than your post itself. That tells me, okay, I really touched on a subject, a theme, and it's exactly, it's that impact. Because people, I think also with video, there's a couple of things that you're mentioning there that are very important for people to keep in mind. Because a lot of people will say, okay, we're going to start our own show. And they get 1 or 2 episodes in, and exactly what you're saying, that there's this whole process around after the show, after you've shot the show, before the show, that people haven't wrapped their heads around. They've underestimated. And then within a couple of episodes, they're like, this is too much for me. It's taking away from what I did. So having templates in place so that it's easy to cut and edit, and having a format, having those processes in place saves you a lot of time.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I think people have is, it's like, oh, well, I'll just get on the show and just need 1 viral video. Well, even first of all, I mean, being viral, getting a viral video, there's no easy formula for that. It's a bit of hit and miss. There's a bit of luck and talent and just the, timing and everything.
Absolutely.
And even if you do have one video that has huge viewership on it, it still kind of disappears after a while. Like even something that's viral, there's something new viral that's going to take its place within a couple of days, and people will forget about it.
I think longevity and consistency will always outweigh one viral hit, for the most part.
Well, so I would say, and the person of note that I would say that to really look at, to say as a phenomenon, would be Jordan Peterson. Now I know he's a slightly controversial figure, so let's ignore the controversy of him. Not that he should be, but anyways, he had tons and tons he had full lectures, because he was a professor at the University of Toronto. He had full lectures on his channel for years. They only had a few thousand views here and there. People weren't going to sit through an hour-long lecture on psychology. They weren't interested. One viral video that lasted, 3 minutes, and all of a sudden everyone was like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
And then they checked out everything that he did.
Yeah.
So it's just
your backlog is important for that one moment when everything hits.
I think so. Absolutely. It goes to your point is exactly right. That if you're showing up consistently, you have it, and that is one, certainly my experience, and was my kind of surprise is you're doing it for a little while, a few months, and then you look back, and all of a sudden you look at your channel and you're like, whoa, this page of videos scrolls on for a long time. This looks like a lot of videos. For me, for sure, I mean, I'm still kind of shocked that, we're over 4 million minutes watched. How, that seems like a lot of time people pay attention to little old me. And I don't consider myself, I don't go around calling myself an influencer
or
you know, or
YouTuber
or anything like that.
So you do a weekly show?
It's monthly.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I do that, and then I post other videos. I really try to mix it up a lot. You know, so I'll write articles as well. I'll do little posts. I'll do the cartoon videos for fun.
Yeah.
I'll do some other promotional stuff around other work and services that I offer. Precisely because, you know, some people prefer to read than to watch videos. Some people like long form. Other people just want it all in a little like condensed version.
There's the Twitter camp, and the long form camp, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The Jordan Peterson hour-long lecture, 3 hour.
Or the Joe Rogan's. I mean,
Joe Rogan's couple hours. I mean,
he was ahead. He was ahead of everybody by a long shot, and probably the thing that he was ahead of everybody on, in particular, was the fact that there is this appetite for long form. While he was starting out, and he was one of the first few people out there podcasting, people were like, "Oh, you got to edit those down to a few minutes. You'll never, you know."
And he goes, "Why?"
Said, "Yeah, why?" He said, "If they can only listen for half an hour, they'll only get half an hour, and maybe they'll miss some stuff, and maybe they won't."
And it's the same thing. You look at when he first started, and you look back on his early stuff, and it's just as rough as any stuff that I've ever put out. I mean, it's, you know,
First of all, he's high. Yeah, they're high.
That's the whole point. It's like it evolves, right?
Right. Well, that was the thing. Exactly. I mean, I'm very happy to have tuned into that show in the early days, to have watched it evolve from day one.
Yeah.
When it was just, you know, him and his friend, and they were just having these stoner conversations for the longest time.
Comedians in the closet.
And he finally gets one sponsor, which is the Fleshlight. Right? I mean, it couldn't have been. And now, I mean, celebrities would love to be a guest.
Yeah.
Right? Because his platform has grown to be so huge. And
yeah.
This speaks to what this new technology is. This speaks to how I think we underestimate, in a way, how intelligent people are. We think that people don't have the attention spans for anything that lasts more than 30 seconds. Completely not true. Shows how curious people are. So yeah, no, I think he's a great example.
Yeah. Well, I really appreciate it, Roger. Yes, Julian is the first person to be on twice, and that's only because he was the original. He's the OG, and he's in the Toronto conspiracy lab. So where he's the code of silence on LinkedIn Live.
I could be pirate for the rest of my life and never have my own LinkedIn Live. I think it would be great. I'd be happy.
Well, we'll get you back on, but we're way over time, and I know you got things to do and everything else, and I do truly appreciate it. In fact, I had someone booked tomorrow, and they actually had a conflict. So this is the first week I would probably be on solo for 3 days this week. It's like, okay. Which is okay. I can yammer on for a half hour and talk about things. But I think it's fascinating. The whole point of the prior broadcast is we don't need the FCC. We don't need a producer. We don't need anybody to give us permission. You already have permission. So if you're thinking about producing video in 2020, or you're thinking about producing content in 2020, don't think about it anymore. Just go out there and do it. You have permission to do it. Julian, you give him permission, right?
You have my full permission and endorsement.
I second the motion. Moved and seconded. There it is. You have permission to go create content today.
Yeah.
So thank you, Julian. Have a fabulous week and weekend, and Happy New Year.
Likewise, Russ. Thanks so much for having me. It's always a pleasure.
We'll be back. And as you know, kindness is cool. Smiles are free.
Yes, they are.
And you enjoy the day.
You're a good man, Russ. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. End the broadcast now.